from 2 Kings chapter 1 at Hope FM Line. If you're at Hope FM Live, if you're there, say hi. So 2 Kings chapter 1, we are going to just take a look at the whole of it. It exists in 18 verses of the chapter. Okay, it's about the Lord's judgment on Ahaziah. And so here's what happened, because it's quite a read, so I'll just paraphrase it, try to shorten it. I hope my summary is great. Most times when people tell you mine will just be a short while, then you know you're in for the long haul, right? So I hope you can tell me if I kept the rhythm or I kept tradition. But anyway, so here's what's happening in this book of 2 Kings 1. And the title of our sharing is Seeking God is a Choice. Seeking God is a Choice. Because the king here had fallen through a lattice of his upper room, so he became sick because of that. And the funny thing, or not so funny thing, is that he sends his messengers to a god with a small g, Baal-zebub, and he tells them to go and consult this god of theirs to find out if he was going to be healed from this injury that he was suffering as the king. And so they start out, but the angel of God prompts Elijah the Tishbite and tells Elijah, go and tell those messengers who are going to their God. So they actually, if you read through, they never quite made it to consult their God. But it's a judgment right there and then, because the angel tells them, is it because there is no God in Israel that you have decided to go and consult this God of Ekron for the king's healing? Now, because of this, because you have chosen to do this, you will tell your king that he will not recover from the ailment that he is suffering. Okay, so that's quite a judgment, if I should say. And so they go back with the message, and the king wonders, why are you back so soon? Or why are you even back? Apparently, they should not have come back so soon. So they relay the message of the man of God, and the king, in his wisdom, decides, I'm going to send a captain with his troops of 50 to go and tell Elijah to come back. So I don't know whether this was an arrest or it might have looked like it, because they go with the orders of the king. You know, when the president sends his men to you for you to come, you're being summoned, right? So this was more like that. Elijah was being summoned. And so Elijah was seated there on top of that mountain. And the first lot went. And the captain says, you know what? The king says, come down. And so Elijah says, if I am a man of God, because that is what the title that they use to say, man of God, king says, come down. And so Elijah says, if I am a man of God, may fire come down from heaven. Elijah was a hot one, right? Let fire come down from heaven and consume you and your 50 men. And fire came from heaven, and it consumed all those men as if they were only a statistic. It consumed them. Now the king heard of this, but he sent a second contingent. And he sends them and he tells them, go and tell Elijah that I want to see him. That's a sermon. That's not like you're being nice and you're saying, hey, you have a word from the Lord. Might you want to come and just tell us? So he sends for him the second time, and the captain and his 50, they are also consumed by fire. But this time around, the third group goes to Elijah. But the captain, because he has already seen a pattern, he begs for his life. And he says, man of God, please have respect for my life. I don't want for that fire to consume me the way it has done those previous groups of people. And now the angel assures Elijah and says, go and face the king. Nothing bad would happen. And so he goes with them and he tells the king, you know what? It is true. You will not recover. Just as the word came from the Lord the first time and you had the message, but you did not change your mind, neither did you repent. So then, the account ends with the death of the king. The king's name, Ahaziah. Therefore, what do we get from this? It is that it is a choice that we have, because it seems to me that before even the king went south, he should have called on the Lord. He should have called on God. And it's not like he didn't have a heritage of godliness in his lineage. Of course, there were people in his lineage, like people like Ahab, who did bad by the Lord. But he should have known better than to go and consult some God over there. Because God did it mattered in the heart of God that he did not choose him. So today also it matters as well with us what we are going to do. Are we going to choose the Lord? Are we going to choose him? Perhaps that